Welcome to this introductory video on the Questions to Ask series. In this particular video, we're looking at the doctoral Viva or oral exam. There's a moment near the end of every doctoral journey that can make or break the candidate's experience of everything that came before it. The Viva voce, the oral examination of the thesis. How it's designed, who conducts it, and under what conditions matters enormously. This short video walks you through just a few of the key questions that anyone responsible for implementing the oral exam should be asking. Before we get to the questions, a critical point. There is no universal best practice for the Viva. What works in India doesn't transfer to South Africa, Kenya, or Brazil. The questions in the key questions resources are always designed to help you figure out what's right for your context, not to prescribe a single model. When designed well, the Viva does things a written thesis simply cannot. It allows examiners to assess whether a candidate can defend their thinking in real time, not just write it up. It adds a layer of transparency and accountability to the examination process. It can function as a genuine induction into a scholarly community, and it helps candidates develop the capacity to speak about their work with authority and clarity. We need to take each of these seriously. The first question to ask is, what do we actually expect a doctoral graduate in our field to be able to do? If we expect them to be able to defend a position, engage in critique, and communicate their research verbally, then those attributes need to be assessed somewhere. The Viva is a good place for that. But we need to be careful that we're assessing research competence and not just levels of anxiety and performativity. The Viva also strengthens examination rigor. It creates a space where examiners can seek clarification on the written thesis and where the candidate can respond to the examiner's concerns. It allows much deeper deliberation about data collection and analysis and reduces the risks inherent in the anonymous written examination process. It provides an important authenticity check, particularly in thesis by publication formats or where there might be questions about the candidate's own intellectual contribution. Importantly, this shouldn't be about distrust or interrogation. This should be about transparency and giving the student a space to speak back to the examiner's concerns. A well-run Viva is also a rite of passage. It's the moment a candidate is welcomed into the scholarly community of their field as an equal, recognized as someone who has made an original contribution to knowledge. How can you structure your Viva to allow candidates to articulate their contribution and receive guidance for future dissemination of their work? Done well, a Viva is a powerful moment in the doctoral journey. Now for the harder conversation. A Viva can go wrong, and when it does, the consequences for candidates are serious. The literature identifies 4 main risk areas that institutions need to address honestly. The first challenge is power. The Viva involves a power asymmetry by design. There's a significant difference between a challenging scholarly dialogue and an inquisitorial process characterized by aggression or sarcasm. Chairpersons need training to ensure that this is a space of collegiality, and institutions need to ask honestly, does our Viva process reproduce or exacerbate inequalities related to race, gender, language, age, institutional affiliation? Candidates who speak in their second or third language, for example, face a fundamentally different assessment experience to those using the language that they are familiar with at home. The second challenge is inconsistency. What institutional guidelines define the purpose, format, and assessment criteria of the Viva? How are the possible outcomes defined and communicated clearly to all parties? How does the written thesis examination relate in time and weight to the Viva? These and similar questions need clear answers before the Viva is implemented. Third, the Viva requires real institutional investment. Who trains chairpersons to manage the process? What happens when things go wrong? A technical failure in the online Viva, a candidate in distress, an examiner who oversteps. What are the protocols for recording Vivas where required? These aren't bureaucratic details, they are the scaffolding that makes a fair process possible. Finally, the Viva should never become a rubber stamp. In some cases, the Viva is a celebratory occasion after the examination of the thesis is complete. But in most cases, it is designed as an integral component of the doctoral examination and not a procedural afterthought. This means ensuring examiner continuity between the written and oral components, building systematic review of the Viva outcomes into the quality assurance processes of any department, and asking, does our Viva complement the rigor of the written thesis, or does it merely duplicate, or even worse, undermine it? The full resource, available as a downloadable PDF, sets out all these questions in details, organized by benefits and challenges. It's designed for individual reflection, for use in program team discussions, or as the basis for a staff development workshop. We'd encourage you to work through it with your colleagues. You can find this and many other resources like it on the postgradenvironments.com website. At its best, the doctoral Viva is one of the most significant moments in a scholar's formation. It deserves to be designed with care, implemented with rigor, and conducted with respect. We hope that the questions will help you to do exactly that.